Hi everyone, welcome back to another English lesson that will be covering misplaced modifiers. Okay, before a lesson, I have a question to ask you is, do you know what a modifier is? Okay, if you have no idea, here is an explanation. A modifier is something that describes another word or another phrase in a sentence. Here we have a sentence, she studied in the library. In the sentence, we have in the library, that's the modifier here, is describing the action of somebody and giving more information to be more engaging in the sentence. In modifier can be an adjective or above because they are also describing things, describing something, right? It can be a phrase like adjective phrase, above phrase. As long as they are describing something, they are modifiers. Okay, after knowing the modifiers, now we are ready to learn misplaced modifier. Okay, so we need to identify if misplaced modifiers is there in a sentence. So misplaced means wrong place, not in a proper place of modifiers. So where should a modifier be in a sentence? As you know, modifiers should be somewhere right next to the word that it wants to modify, right? But for a misplaced modifier, that is placing too far from the word or wax is modifying. Let me repeat. A modifier should be right next to the word it's supposed to modify, but if it's not around here or is placed too far from the word it wants to modify, it's a misplaced modifier. Now we are going to see how a misplaced modifier make a problem. Like this. My uncle had to see a doctor with indigestion. In this sentence, we have a modifier with indigestion. That's a phrase, that's a misplaced phrase, misplaced modifier. So here, look at this modifier. It's just next to the word doctor, right? So we have an information like a doctor is having indigestions, right? The sentence is meaning like this. Actually, this is not what we are going to say. This is not what we are trying to say. We just want to say that my uncle had to see a doctor, right? Why? Because he's having indigestion, right? That's what we want to say. So here, with indigestions, that modifier is far away from the word it wants to modify, my uncle. That's why we are having a problem. We have misunderstanding of the sentence. So how do we fix it? How to correct those kind of misplaced modifiers? So the problem is the modifier is far away from the word it wants to modify, right? So how to solve the problem? Very easy. You move that modifier as close as possible to the word it wants to modify, right? So let's see how it's fixed. Now with indigestion is right next to my ankle, it wants to modify, so we have a sentence like my ankle with indigestion had to see a doctor. Okay, now we have the proper information. Ankle is having indigestion, that's why he had to go see a doctor. Let's see more examples. There's nothing like a chocolate cone or ice cream on a hot day. So here in this sentence, let's find a modifier first. Here, chocolate is a modifier, is an adjective modifier, but in a wrong place. Because in this sentence, we want to say that the ice cream is chocolate flavor, not the cone. But the chocolate is just next to the cone, so we have wrong information like the cone is with chocolate flavor, right? So problem is chocolate should be next to ice cream, but it's far from the word it wants to modify. So how do? We have to move it. Move the chocolate, move the modifier to next to the word it wants to modify, ice cream. So here is how it's fixed. There's nothing like a cone of chocolate ice cream on a hot day, right? Now we know that ice cream is with chocolate flavor. Okay, let's see a couple more. Here we glue together the vase we broke quietly. Now we are seeing above modifier quietly. But let's see where it is. It is next to the word broke. So we might have the information like we broke something quietly. We broke the vase quietly, right? But is it what we are trying to say? No, actually we broke the vase, but we want to avoid the punishment from teachers or maybe from parents. That's why we glue it quietly. So here the above the modifier quietly is far from the word it wants to modify glue, so we have to move it to be near to the word glue. So here is how it's fixed. We quietly glue together the vase we broke. Now we clearly understand the sentence. We did quietly, we glue quietly, right, the vase we broke. Okay, to make sure you understand that, this is the last example. Our food stayed in the bag while it was hot. This time we have the clause while it was hot. This is the modifier, clause modifier. But look at the word that next to it, bag. So here we think like we understand like while the bag was hot, our food stay inside. Does this make sense? No, this is not what we are trying to describe. It was hot. Here, while it was hot is for our food. So it should be near to the word our food. That's why while it was hot, that modifier is far from the word it wants to modify our food. So you have to move it right next to that, our food. Like this. While it was hot, our food stayed in the bag. Now we understand that while the food was hot, that stayed in the bag. Okay, thank you everyone. I hope you understand. Today I have explained what a modifier is, what a misplaced modifier is, and how to fix it. Thank you. See you soon.